Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about this weekend's action, as well as talk about some of the breaking news that has come out in the past 24 hours. As usual, like, subscribe if you are new, watch till the end, and let's get into it. Alright, this weekend, Claressa Shields, she's putting her heavyweight titles up for grabs as she takes on Lani Daniels. This is going to be at the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Claressa Shields, obviously from Michigan. This is for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Claressa Shields, we'll start with talking about her. Obviously, the self-proclaimed GWOAT. She's 30 years old, 16 wins, undefeated professionally, 2 Olympic gold medals, 5 division world champion, and 3 division undisputed world champion. You can see why she calls herself the GWOAT. She's going to be coming up this weekend against Lani Daniels, a 37-year-old New Zealander. She's got a pro record of 11 wins, 2 defeats, and 2 draws. She's the former Australian heavyweight champion, as well as former IBF heavyweight and IBF light heavyweight champion. So she's no doubt a very good fighter herself. Though she's coming up against an experienced fighter and a former world champion, I do believe Claressa Shields is just going to be way too good for her, and we're going to see the 17th win in Claressa Shields' professional career. I would probably say she's going to win by decision. Claressa Shields doesn't tend to stop her opponents. She does tend to get very, very wide unanimous decision victories. And that's what I'm backing her to do this weekend against Lani Daniels. Obviously, Lani Daniels definitely has the capability of upsetting the world and beating Claressa Shields. But I think in her hometown with the skills she possesses, this is Claressa Shields' night. Also on that card, we have Caroline Ver versus Alicia Budesa. This is a 10-round bout for the WBC silver featherweight title. We also see Bryce Taylor. He's taking on Robert Sims. That's for an 8-round heavyweight bout. And we're going to see Tony Harrison return. This will be his first fight since he lost to Tim Tszyu in March of 2023 when he lost that interim belt to Tim Tszyu. This one's going to be a 10-round bout against Edward Alua Diaz. Alright, separate event, but no doubt a big event on its own. Ryan Garner, he's taking on Reece Belotti for the British super featherweight, Commonwealth super featherweight, and the European super featherweight titles. Ryan Garner, he's coming into this bout 27 years of age, 17 wins, 8 knockouts, current European super featherweight champion and WBC international super featherweight champion. But he's coming up against a tough opponent, somebody that has very similar achievements within this division. He's coming up against Reece Belotti, 34-year-old, 20 wins, 15 knockouts, 5 losses, 2 coming by way of knockout. And he's the current British super feather and Commonwealth Boxing Council super featherweight champion. I think Ryan Garner will win this contest. I was so impressed with his performance last year against Archie Sharp, and he backed it up with another win this year over Salvador Jimenez. But Belotti, he's very experienced himself, has had some losses, notably that loss against Raymond Ford. I think Raymond Ford was sitting around 8 or 9 wins at the time, and he got battered. Raymond Ford beat him, I think, in 3 rounds. But since then, since 2022, he has been on a 6-fight win streak, with 3 of those coming by stoppage. I think 2 of them retired and 1 was a TKO. So he's going to be tough to stop. He's on a roll. But I think Ryan Garner is a very, very good fighter, and I'm backing him for the win. All right, also on that card, Alois Jr., he's taking on Ellis Zorro, cruiserweight bout. Alois Jr., he's 22 years old, and he's coming off that very impressive stoppage win over David Jamison. That win took place on the Taylor vs. Esserman card for the Commonwealth Cruiserweight belt, and Alois Jr. stopped him in 3 rounds. Great knockout, and that knockout power is going to be scary for someone like Ellis Zorro, who I would say over the past few years has had his own share of trouble. Ellis Zorro, the 32-year-old, he's still trying to rebuild after those back-to-back losses to Opetaia and Chev Clark. That Opetaia one especially was unbelievably brutal. I mean, Opetaia got a highlight reel knockout in the first round. It was unbelievable. Big left hook. And then after that fight, Zorro then had a fight against Chev Clark, who also got a very, very impressive stoppage win in the 8th round. So not a great run of form, but his last bout that he was in, he did win. After that Chev Clark fight, he had 1 fight against Victor Shvaku. That was a 6-round bout. I mean, take what you will from that fight. The guy he was versing, the guy that Zorro was versing, had a professional record at the time of 5 wins and 22 losses. So I think we're really looking at how he fought against Jai Opetaia and Chev Clark. Obviously, Alois Jr. is nowhere near as good as Jai Opetaia is right now, but I think Alois Jr. has a lot of potential. And also on that card, we see Tony Curtis. He's taking on Charles Tondo. This is a flyweight bout. Tony Curtis, young British 19-year-old with a pro record of 10-1. There's big hopes for this kid. There's big hopes for this kid, and I expect him to get another win this weekend against Charles Tondo. All right, let's go into the news that has come out the past 24 hours. Now, Manny Pacquiao, he spoke on a Mayweather rematch, talking about whether he thinks it'll happen or not. This was his quote. "If he comes out of retirement, then go sign the contract and we'll fight. Let's fight again if he wants it." So obviously there's no real reason Manny Pacquiao would not want this fight. Obviously Pacquiao lost the first one back in 2015. Pacquiao looked impressive against Mario Barrios. I know Mario Barrios, I have my opinions on him. I didn't think Pacquiao was going to survive a 12-round fight, but he actually impressed. He did well. He is still fit enough to do this. And he's going to be the younger of the two. Like, Mayweather is, 2 or 3 years older than Pacquiao. But Mayweather, I will say, he has been relatively active. I mean, his last professional fight was 2017 against Conor McGregor. But since then, he's had 6 or 7 exhibition fights. Gotti, he versed the third time. Deji, he fought. Logan Paul, I think he fought an MMA fighter. And Mayweather keeps himself in excellent shape. Look, Mayweather, I think, would be silly not to take this fight. It would just be whether he wants to risk his 50-0. You know, if it's a exhibition fight that doesn't go on the professional record, I feel like there's a chance we see Mayweather back. I feel like if Pacquiao tells him to make it a professional bout, and Mayweather just saw Pacquiao go 12 rounds in a title fight, I'm not sure Mayweather takes it. Terence Crawford, he's officially vacated his WBO interim 154-pound title. Obviously, that was always happening, and he's now been officially ranked number 1 by WBO in that super middleweight rankings. So he's all set now for that fight against Canelo Alvarez. They can advertise it as number 1 contender against Canelo Alvarez. You know, he might not be the number 1 contender, but that's how these things work. Also in the news, this one was surprising. Shakur Stevenson, he's told Nightcap that, this was his quote, "I don't see myself getting no bigger to fight at 140 pounds. If I do it, it will be just okay. I did everything at 135. I conquered the division, and now it's time to move up. I want to be the best lightweight of all time." That's a big statement. And the reason I say that's a big statement is because there's not a whole lot of wiggle room there for Shakur Stevenson to really push himself. He's not the young kid in the division that's got 4 or 5 very good champions in it. And, you know, he's got to build his way up and beat them all and become undisputed and all of that. Zepeda, who he just beat, I would regard as the best fighter in the division, bar Tank Davis. So I guess the problem is, I don't know how his stocks really rise to be the best of all time in that division when you look at everybody that he can verse: Floyd Schofield, Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes, Raymond Muratella, Andy Cruz. I mean, these are all either champions, soon to be champions, or very good contenders in the division, but I wouldn't say on paper that any of them are on paper better than Shakur Stevenson. So he's got no one better than him that he can beat apart from one name, and that's Tank Davis. And the problem is, when are we going to see Tank Davis fight again? He's got his legal issues. He's supposed to take on Lamont Roach Jr. You know, that fight is probably never going to happen. It hasn't happened yet, and it probably will never happen. Look, obviously, if he goes in there and he gets all the other belts and he beats... Raymond Muratella has the belt, but he's got a fight coming up. Sam Noakes and Abdullah Mason, they fight for one. So, you know, he can make his way through the division and beat everyone. I just don't know whether at the end, if he beats all of those people, are we sitting there and saying Shakur Stevenson is the best lightweight of all time? And there's some big fights to be had at 140 pounds. If he wants to become undisputed in this division and then move up to 140 pounds, I think that would be great. Just don't know if there's enough depth in the division for him to go through it without beating Tank Davis. I think if you add Tank Davis and you beat everybody else there, I think you can maybe call that. Without Tank Davis on that resume, I think it's a little bit harder. No offense to those other guys, but I just think the person that Shakur just beat in Zepeda is probably got higher stocks than all of those fighters. Alright guys, that is all the news for today. I will be trying to get a video out in the next few days to talk about Xander Zayas versus Jorge Garcia Perez. That's also taking place this weekend. I'll keep you all up to date on any breaking news or boxing talk that's out on my next video as well. So, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. The past few weeks have been very, very good. Lots and lots of engagement within the channel, which is great to see. Leave all your thoughts in the comments about anything we spoke about today. And I'm out of here, guys. See ya!